So welcome everyone. So excited that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Some of you may not know me. So my name is Tanya Dantes, and I'm a psychotherapist. I'm an associate marriage and family therapist in the state of California. Here I'm a health practitioner and for psychotherapy. I'm going to stall a few minutes for the latecomers, so let them stroll in a few minutes late. And yeah, I've been working in the healing arts for about 20 years, but in the expressive arts since I was this high. I love to dance, I love to move, I love theater, and I'm just so excited to be bringing this program of Right HerStory here to Freiburg, where I've been living for the last 4 years, a little boy, and you're about to get to witness the transformative journey that these women took on Right HerStory. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, I know that you could have been many places today. You could have been at the football game, you could have been many places, and you chose to be here. And it means so much to me and these women. We're so grateful that you're here. And yeah, you may have come to support one of them, or maybe you're curious about this work, or we know each other, but in any way, we're so glad that you're here. Thank you. And so I'm going to lay out how the afternoon is going to go right now, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the journey that the women have taken, and then we're going to have 5 performances. Each is going to be 10 minutes. Then we'll do a closing, and then you're invited to join us for refreshments. So we'd love for you to join us. So, but this afternoon is also about you. I know you're excited to be here. And I invite you to just open yourself up to see, have a sense that you're going to be able to glimpse something that's possible for you as well in what you're going to hear. So we have an exciting, cathartic, and emotionally compelling afternoon ahead of us, and I'm excited. So what is this journey that I'm talking about? So these 5 women that you're going to hear from, Miriam, Abby, Hera, Akriti, and JC, we've been working together for over 4 months. And when you hear them up here, you're gonna have a little bit of a sense of the journey they've been on, but you may not be able to grasp fully all of what they've been through. So some of the elements of Right HerStory are dance, theater, psychoeducation, group process, movement, writing, of course. And there's also, these women really had to, really face their fears and take actions that made them uncomfortable at times. And they wrote and they rewrote their stories, and they shared vulnerably, and they had to really become aware of the patterns that hold them back and really just become much more aware of themselves. And so they've been working on how to take up space and give voice to their truth. And moving from playing small to really facing those fears, those deep-seated fears, this is challenging work, okay? This is not a task for the faint-hearted. So to bring all of yourself to this, to really activate your truest expression, is a step-by-step journey of really unpacking behaviors that keep you in fear and prevent you from coming closer to your true self. In today's society, let's be honest, it can be hard for women to really speak their truth in their families, in the workplace, their partners. I want to give you a tiny taste of this journey. I invite you to think a little example in your own life where you maybe hold back. Maybe it's at work, or maybe it's at home with your partner or with your kids. It's that space where you're afraid to bring all of yourself, maybe to really express your truth. Maybe it shows up in the way of not saying your opinion. And what is the fear that holds you back? Is that maybe that you're too much. You're asking too much. You may be judged. She's selfish, mean, not nice. What is that? And as you look at this little sliver of your life, just that one little sliver of your life, I want you to see how just that tiny piece of bringing light to that could make such a difference. Imagine bringing new loving ways of communicating, of showing up for yourself, of finding network and community to support you. What a difference that would make. And this is just some of the work that we do in Right HerStory to really help these women step into fullest self-expression and empowerment. We need the power of community, and we also need practice, right? Because these things are not something that just happen on their own. We can have a lot of insight, but if we don't take action to match that insight, it's just like any discipline. Without practice, nothing's really gonna shift. The other thing in this program is that these women, they didn't just open up to me and to one another. They're opening up to you, an audience. The experience of getting up on a stage and speaking to an audience, there's nothing quite like it. These women really had to get comfortable with being seen. It's the next level of transformation, of becoming comfortable being visible and being vulnerable. One of the common threads that you're gonna hear throughout tonight is the experience of breaking through shame. What is shame? So you may have heard of her, Dr. Brené Brown, shame researcher, author, storyteller. She defines shame as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Something we've experienced, done, or failed to do makes us unworthy of connection. She doesn't believe shame is helpful, unlike guilt, because guilt can help us alter our behavior and modify our behaviors accordingly. But shame keeps us stuck. She says it's much more likely to be the source of destructive, hurtful behavior than the solution or cure. The fear of disconnection can make us dangerous. So on an individual level, we may experience shame in our own life because maybe we ourselves or our partners have gone through the taboos of mental health, counseling, addiction, body weight, image issues, self-harm, suicide, parenting, basically any kind of human process of growth that is nonlinear and messy. Sounds like life, right? So I don't think there's anyone that's really privy to not having the experience of shame in their life. We can also be shamed around things that we're born with, like our sex or our nationality or the color of our hair. We can experience shame from so many things. And some of the long-term effects of living with shame can be depression, anxiety, phobias, isolation, even suicide, addiction, cutting off parts of the self. On a larger collective level, we're seeing people, huge populations of people stepping up and out of their shame that they've been in. We have indigenous populations worldwide who have asked for reparations, for example, or women all over the world who have been held back because of their biological sex. We see them stepping up through the Blasey Ford versus Kavanaugh hearings, the Me Too movement, all of these things. The first showing of the vagina monologues was in 1996. Now, this many years later, we have books and documentaries popping up everywhere. Pussy, a reclamation by Regina Thomas Hauer, period, end of sentence, a documentary. It's just highlighting the shame and the silence which these groups have been kept under and are now no longer willing. Because you see, shame and silence are very much intertwined. Dr. Brown, she illuminates us with some more of her wisdom when she says that if you take shame and you put it in a petri dish, it needs 3 things to grow: secrecy, silence, and judgment. But if you take that same amount of shame and you douse it with empathy, it can't grow. So now you see, you're getting a glimpse of why storytelling. Why would we do this, right? First of all, just breaking the silence and putting a word to what has shamed us, saying it out loud, shedding light on it, already lifts so much of it. Another thing is that our lives have become square. We live in our square buildings, in our square cars, in our square lives, with the tube, watching stories on the tube. And we miss this live interaction where we see the whole person's energy and we feel all of their multidimensionality, and we see the messiness, the blood, the sweat, the tears that is human experience, the nonlinear aspect of us being human. One last intention of this program that I'll share with you all today is that as we write our own stories and perform them, we own them rather than let them own us. And this brings us closer to becoming conscious creators of our lives. Using the expressive arts, we come closer to the realization that we are the directors, the artistic directors, the artists of our own lives. So, my wish is that you are inspired by these women, these stories, these women who have walked through the alchemical fires of transformation to share with you today. And I invite you to listen, as I've told them many times, with beginner's mind. Letting go of any labels, any judgment, and try on these perspectives like a coat. Does it remind you of something in your life? Maybe you've not ever been through the exact same thing, but how does it nourish you today to hear this? Can you relate? And as always, take care of yourself. If you hear anything that is triggering or activating for you, I invite you to speak to someone afterward. Take care of yourself emotionally, psychologically, always, please. So in a moment, without further, we're going to have JC up here with her self-searching for truth. So please, I invite you to join me. Oh, okay, one quick announcement, please, that no filming, no filming, please. We have our professional videographer who's filming the whole thing for us, but please, the women would like to have control over who sees this, so please no filming. And and if you've been asked by one of the specific women to take a picture, you may do so, but please don't use flash, just to not distract people. And so we're gonna have JC up here. Please join me with a round of applause.